Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Sunday, so we are doing breaches of the week. And in breaches news, we're actually going to do a very special edition of this. We're going to talk about fake data breaches because that, quite frankly, that's something that we don't talk about quite a bit. Now, as you know, I do a regular Sunday breaches of the week video / podcast, also radio segment on my radio show and all of that regarding all of this. And I think that this is an important one because as the news reports it, sometimes the news gets it wrong. And as I'm looking for and aggregating all of these data breaches, that's something that I too then, as I'm looking at valid news sources that will run retractions, that does have a vetting process, I may also be getting it wrong as well. So full disclosure, full transparency is the name of the game here. Now, there's a really interesting article basically in HelpNet by Vitaly Simovich. He's of Cato Networks, and I think this is an important one because basically this is mostly his words, but I did in fact basically do my homework on this, given what I do with, again, my breaches, because I want to obviously be as honest, straightforward, and transparent as well. So I'm happy to run retractions, like anybody else. Now, amid the constant drumbeat of successful cyber attacks, some fake data breaches have also cropped up, obviously making sensational headlines. And unfortunately, even fake data breaches can have real repercussion. So we're going to talk about that. Now, earlier this year, an attacker on a criminal forum claimed to have stolen data on some 50 million Europcar owners. And now, after an investigation, the car rental company determined that the data basically claimed to have been stolen was completely fake. It was false. In February 2024, someone created a fake news story claiming a major breach at the Maine Attorney General's office and tricked the Attorney General's office into posting it on their website. Epic Games, maker of Fortnite, was a victim of a fake data breach by a cybercrime group that claimed without evidence that it had stolen source code and sensitive user data. I remember reporting on that one as well. I don't remember the Attorney General one. Europcar, I believe I reported on also, but we'll get to that too. Now, these fabricated attacks can create panic and obviously damage reputations for these businesses or these organizations. Now, unlike notorious and sophisticated cyber criminals with a reputation to maintain, novice hackers, basically criminal hackers and amateurs, can easily resort to a hoax. They can manipulate social media to spread misinformation and then profit from the chaos. It doesn't take a lot of effort. ChatGPT, basically get a prompt and it can generate an entire database worth of realistic looking records. Attackers can then try to sell the made up stuff like fake email addresses, passwords, credit cards, etc., claiming it's from a hacked company. So a fake data breach, somebody falls for it, buys it from you, another criminal buys it from you, now you're making money off of basically bogus data. Now, fake data breaches can hurt an organization's reputation even if it debunks the breach. So whether it's real or fake news of a potential breach, obviously can create panic among employees, among customers, and other stakeholders as well. For publicly traded companies, the consequences can be even more damaging, such as rumors that can essentially degrade, let's say, the stock price. So fake breaches also have direct financial consequences as well. Investigating a fake breach takes time and money, as well as tying up security personnel. Time spent on investigations can mean time away from mitigating actual threats and security vulnerabilities and all of that, especially when you're talking about, let's say, small businesses with limited resources. In terms of facts surrounding a data breach, real or hoax, the author of this was essentially 100% correct. So I fact check these data breaches mentioned, as I believe that I also mentioned these on, like I said, on my regular breaches segment. So Europcar dropped in January, and then in February, there's an article in Security Boulevard that stated, quote, on January 28th, 2024, a user with the handle Lean posted on a criminal forum that they had 48.6 million customer records from a supposed breach of Europcar. Europcar is a car rental company with a global presence operating in over 140 countries. Lean claimed the data set contained full sensitive data such as usernames, passwords, full name, address, birth location, passport, driver's license, and bank details, all information real customers of a car rental company would obviously give over to that. And so that's obviously a huge thing. So Lean was soliciting offers, waiting for a bidder, but it was all made up. It was fake. Bleeping Computer reached out to Europcar asking about the potential breach, and they responded that they had not suffered a data breach and that the data had potentially been fabricated by AI. Bleeping Computer's original article then contained the response from Europcar that stated, the number of records is completely wrong and inconsistent with ours. The sample data is likely ChatGPT generated. Addresses don't exist. Zip codes don't match. First and last name don't match. Email addresses have very unusual IDs. And most importantly, none of these email addresses were present in the Europecard database. Now, the mention of AI then basically set security folks and media outlets off. So Troy Hunt of Have I Been Pwned basically tweeted that a PR company had contacted him on behalf of an InfoSec company with essentially their hot take. Troy provided screenshots of the data and asked anybody who could identify the non-AI library used to create this data. Cascadia IQ, which is a threat intelligence service focusing on fraud, quickly identified that a common open source Python library called Faker was used to actually create this data. So it's completely fake. Now, Epic Games, and I remember reporting on that one as it broke, there basically was an update as of March 4th. That's the latest I could find. And Eurogamer reported on March 1st, quote, a group which claimed to have breached Epic Games servers have admitted their claim was false. And they said instead were basically hit by quote unquote professional fraudsters looking for a payout. Now, the goal of this group called Mogilevich, their aim rather, was to essentially trick the hackers into believing that they had the tools to hack big name companies, which they could then sell on, essentially sell to the hackers or make use of them themselves. And what I mean by that, because I totally just muddled that up, is essentially they were trying to say that they had created a tool that could easily hack these companies and other hackers would buy it, and the tool obviously didn't work, but they'd make some quick money. Now, a spokesperson for the group told Cyber Daily, which first reported the alleged Epic Games breach, that they were going public with their plan now to basically highlight their efforts as criminal geniuses. So I say all of that to say that we do sometimes get it wrong, and sometimes breaches are hoaxes. And so I basically put out the statements as I'm doing breaches of the week. When the Epic Games of the world say we're still investigating, I try to include that to basically say, hey, they're still investigating, so we'll see where this goes. Maybe it's a lot worse than we initially suspect. Maybe there's no breach at all. But the point is that the goal here is always to be honest and transparent with all of you that watch or listen to breaches of the week in whatever form that you get it from. And so I will always be that transparent. If I find other breaches that have been fake, obviously I'll update it on next breaches of the week because I want to be fair to those going through those things. And so with that, that is your breaches of the week, or the fake ones anyway, and I'll see you next time. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please attempt to stay private. Thanks all.